More than 20 athletes have withdrawn from the World Championships. Olympic champions, defending world champions, and beloved veterans. Alyssa Liu, Mikhail Shidorov, Madison Chalk, Evan Bates, Jason Brown, Leona Hendricks, the Japanese pair champions, and many more. But when so many step back, someone else steps forward. And for Team Canada, this could be their moment. Today, Stephen Gogolev's pressure flip from underdog to favorite, Piper and Paul's celebration mindset, and Madeline Schizas' redemption. Plus, how athletes manage their energy across multi-day competitions, and what all these withdrawals tell us about the future of elite sport. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Anti-Fragile Mindset. I'm your host, Christine Reeves Beleznay, former professional pair skater, high-performance mindset coach, and author of the new book, Glitz and Grit, Beyond the Spotlight. This podcast is where we explore mental performance, resilience, and what it takes to thrive under pressure. In segment 1, we're going to do a quick recap. More than 20 athletes have withdrawn from Worlds. For the women, we've got Alyssa Liu, Leona Hendricks, Kimi Rapond, Maria Senuik. For the men, we've got Mikhail Shidorov, Jason Brown, Genoa Cha, Matteo Rizzo. In the pairs, we've got Miura and Chiara, Conti and Machi. In ice dance, we have Chalk and Bates, Cam and O'Shea, Val and Kazimov. And for Canada, Diana Stellato-Deduc and Maxime Deschamps are 2024 world champions out due to training injury, and more. In episode 2, I covered why these withdrawals make sense. It's been over a month since the Olympics ended, but that's not enough time to fully recover the physical and mental toll of peaking for the games. 5 weeks might sound like a lot, but when you're giving everything, when your nervous system has been in overdrive, when your body has been pushed to its absolute limits, 5 weeks is nothing. So these athletes made strategic decisions to protect their long-term careers. And today, we're focusing on who's stepping up. Team Canada is walking into this opportunity. The question is, can they manage the mental and physical demands of a world championship to capitalize on it? So let's talk about what it takes. In segment 2, we're going to talk about Stephen Gogolev, the pressure flip. At the Olympics over a month ago, he was the underdog, former child prodigy, career almost ended from back injuries. He took 3 months off skating, wasn't sure he'd even compete again. Then the 25-26 happened. First, senior international win. First, Grand Prix medal. First, Canadian title. And then an Olympic debut. And at the Olympics, 5th place, just points off the podium. Second best free skate of the entire competition. He said after, "A year ago, I wouldn't be able to imagine that I would be here." That's the voice of an underdog, someone with nothing to lose, skating free. But now, heading into Worlds starting Wednesday, everything has changed. Because Stephen is no longer the underdog. Analysts are predicting he could medal. Fans are expecting a podium. This is his World Championships debut as a favorite. This is what I call the pressure flip. When you're the underdog, you have the freedom. Mistakes are okay. 5th place is a triumph. You skate loose, unburdened. When you're the favorite, mistakes feel catastrophic. You're tight, skating to avoid mistakes. 5th place is a disappointment. Expectations way heavy. And after navigating that mental shift, it's one of the hardest things an athlete can do. Here's what I tell athletes going through this. You can't go back to being the underdog. That chapter is over. Celebrate that moment and what you accomplished. Now you can choose to skate for your reasons, not for anyone else's expectations. Stephen's job at Worlds isn't to live up to Canadian expectations. It's to skate the program he's capable of, to compete against himself, not against the pressure. That mindset shift From external validation to internal motivations. That's what separates athletes who thrive under new pressure from those who struggle. And heading into Worlds, Stephen has had a month since the Olympics to process, train, and prepare mentally for this new reality. The question is, did he use that time to build confidence and an anti-fragile mindset? Or did the weight of expectations start creeping in? We'll find out starting this week. Okay, athletes, let's talk about that pressure flip. Have you ever reached a goal only to find that the expectations for what comes next are more exhausting than the work it took to get there? If staying at the top is feeling harder than the rise to it, I want to hear your story in the comments. Send us a message. And so now we're into segment 3, Piper and Paul, the celebration. Piper and Paul, 15 years of partnership. At the Milano Olympics a month ago, they finally got their medal. Bronze in ice dance after years of being so close. Their free dance to Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night left people in tears. I hope you saw it. Paul said after the Olympics, we really want to treat this event as a celebration of our skating. The Olympics was our big goal, and we accomplished that. Do you hear that? A celebration, not a desperate attempt, not redemption, a celebration. And here's what makes this so powerful. Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, 3 times world champions, Olympic silver medalists, have withdrawn from Worlds. That withdrawal means Piper and Paul have a real shot at their first world title. But they're not approaching it with desperation. They're approaching it with joy. This is the celebration mindset, enjoying the process of training and competing. When you've already achieved your main goal, you can compete from satisfaction instead of desperation. So, redemption mindset, like we'll see with Ilya Malinin, I need to prove that wasn't me. Could be tight, skating to avoid mistakes again, trying to prove oneself after a poor performance. Compare it to the celebration mindset. I've already proved it. This is the bonus. I love the process. Loose, joyful, present, skating for the love of it. And I've seen both in my career and coaching others. That celebration mindset almost always leads to a better performance. Because you're not fighting your nerves. You're not white-knuckling through fear and the worry of the outcome. You're just enjoying it. You've put in the work, and now it's like the icing on the cake. Piper and Paul have had a month since the Olympics to let that bronze medal sink in, to celebrate with friends and family, and to savor what they've accomplished. And now they're heading to Prague to skate one more time on the world stage, not because they have to prove something, but because they want to celebrate 15 years of partnership. That's powerful. That's freedom. So a question for you. Which one drives you? The joy of celebration or the need for redemption? When was the last time you let success sink in before the what next anxiety took over or the critique of the moment? Drop a comment and tell me how you handle that post-performance moment. So, if you're immediately jumping into critique or what's my next challenge and worrying about that without stopping to acknowledge what you've just achieved, I want to hear from you. So, segment 4, energy management. This is what I call the hidden performance skill. We're going to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough in my books. Energy management over a multi-day competition. The world champions run from today, Tuesday, when the practices start, to Sunday. That's 6 days of competition, of being at peak energy and adrenaline. But it's not just the days of the actual competition. It's also practice sessions starting Tuesday, opening ceremonies, multi-events per day, traveling back and forth from hotel to arena, early morning practices the same day as evening competitions, changes in nutrition and diet from a foreign country, managing your nerves across multiple performances, skating in an unfamiliar rink with a different feel of the ice or at times even the size. The excitement and chaos of a major championships with media, fans, and competitors. And for some skaters who compete provincially or locally, like pairs and dance teams, synchro skaters, and those competing in artistic events. They're competing in multiple disciplines across multiple days and often multiple times in one day. And so, how do you manage your energy, both physically and mentally? And to manage that excitement and adrenaline? This is something I learned the hard way in my professional show skating career. When I was performing with Disney on Ice and then later with the Torvill and Dean UK tour, we weren't doing one performance and going home. We were doing 2 shows per day, sometimes 3 on weekends, 5 to 6 days per week for months. And I was doing this while I was nursing and caring for a newborn baby. So energy management, it wasn't optional. It was survival. Here's what I learned and what I now teach the athletes I coach. Protect your warm-up energy. In the show skating world, you learn early. If you give 100% in every warm-up, you'll be empty by showtime. The same is true for competitions. Official practices at the competition are essential, but they aren't the performance. Don't leave your best skating on the practice ice. Save that full physical and emotional intensity for the moment when it actually counts. Number 2, managing nervous system activation. This is the butterfly secret. Your body only has one on switch. Here's a secret most athletes don't realize. Your body doesn't actually have a nervous setting and an excited setting. It only has one turbocharged button. When your heart starts racing and your breathing gets shallow and your hands start to shake, that's just your body dumping adrenaline into your system. It's physically the exact same feeling whether you're about to have the skate of your life or one that you're dreading. Those butterflies are actually neutral energy. They're just power waiting for a direction. And it's all in the label. The difference between a disaster and a personal best isn't the feeling in your stomach. It's the label you put on it. If you call that energy anxiety, your brain thinks there's a threat. You tighten up, your focus scatters, and you start playing defense. If you call that energy excitement, your brain thinks you're getting ready for a challenge, something you're looking forward to and not dreading. You stay sharp, you lean into your edges, you stay present, and you perform in the moment, confidently, even aggressively. And so here's a tip. Don't try and calm down. The biggest mistake skaters make is trying to calm themselves down when they're all revved up. It's almost impossible to go from 100 miles per hour to 0 in seconds. Instead of fighting the energy, reroute it. Don't tell yourself, I'm fine. Okay, stay calm, you can do it. Tell yourself, I'm ready and I'm pumped. Or, this isn't nerves, this is activation. You're not trying to kill the butterflies, you're just trying to teach them to fly in formation. At a big event, whether it's the Olympics, Worlds, or a Star Skate Provincials, the atmosphere is amped. You've got music, crowds, announcers, and there's other athletes' energy. All of that activates your nervous system. And if you're activated for hours before you compete, you'll be exhausted before you can even step on the ice. So find a quiet space, use your headphones, control your environment as much as possible, and use your breath work. Now, 3, strategic rest between performances. When I was doing multiple shows per day with Disney, I learned rest is not negotiable. Between shows, I didn't socialize, I didn't walk around, I didn't stay on or up. I found a quiet spot, I laid down, I rested. And with a newborn, I tried to rest whenever he did, which wasn't very often when it actually coordinated with our schedules. But when that happened, my skating partner and husband and I would have to take turns, or whichever one of us was more fatigued at the time. So even 20 minutes of true rest, not chatting, not being on your phones, not scrolling, not trying to stay up and ready, true rest makes the difference between skating well in the second show or event or barely getting through it. At Worlds, you're competing multiple days. Rest and a good sleep is non-negotiable, and there's many tools for helping you fall asleep. And how do you manage your excitement and mindset? Very important, especially at this level of an event. Mental energy conservation, number 4. So this might be the most important one. We call it like the hidden battery, your mental energy. because worry is a power leak. And here's the truth. Your brain burns fuel just like your muscles do. Every what if that pops into your head, what if I fall? What if they're skating better than me? What if I don't medal? It's like leaving the lights on in your car overnight. By the time you actually get to the ice, your battery is drained before you even start your program. So at a big event like Worlds, the noise is everywhere. And if you let that noise and mental chatter run wild, you aren't just stressing yourself. You're literally losing the energy you need for your best program. And so now, the right now rule. The athletes who actually thrive over a long multi-day competition are the ones who know how to shut the doors. They don't live in that what if world. They live in what do I need right now. They have a mental switch for every part of the day. So right now I'm just eating. Right now I'm resting. Right now I'm warming up. They don't let the performance version of themselves show up every moment of the day until it's time to lace up the skates. They keep their focus small and in the moment, and they're circle tight. And so the real championship game, success at a major event isn't just about how you skate for those 3 or 4 minutes. It's about how you manage yourself during the 23 hours and 56 minutes before performances. The real mental game isn't just being tough. It's about, can you protect your energy when the rink is chaotic? Can you stay present when everybody else around you is spiraling? And can you actually quiet your mind when the world is watching? If you can stop the energy leaks and stay in the right now, in the moment, you aren't just skating. You're competing with a full tank while everyone else is running on fumes. And it's a skill you can train, just like your skills and jumps on the ice. And so that leads us to segment 5, Madeline Schizas, the redemption. 4-time Canadian champion, known for reliability under pressure. At the Milano Olympics over a month ago, 25th place and didn't qualify for the free. In her short program, failing to perform her triple loop, receiving an invalid element mark and earning a 0 score on that jump, missing the free skate cut was 1 spot. If there's anything people can take away from watching is, it's not about going to be perfect, she said. I'm living a huge failure in front of hundreds, like thousands of people. But I'm going to come back stronger. And here's what I love about Madeline's words and approach to the Worlds. Mental resilience. After expressing disappointment in her Olympic performance, Schizas noted the importance of learning from errors rather than being discouraged. And she's set to have technical refinement for Worlds. She's focusing on technical consistency in her training, particularly following a season where she balanced high-performance skating and her final year at university. And, of course, over-preparation, emphasizing the need to be over-prepared to fight through programs even when the elements don't go as planned. A lesson learned from previous competitions. That's healthy redemption. So this brings me to the 2 types of redemption. Desperate, I have to prove I'm not a failure, where you skate tight, scared, attempting to replace embarrassment or shame. And healthy redemption, I know I'm capable, I just need to show it, focused, determined, and moving toward potential. Madeline's doing the healthy redemption. She's had a month also since the Olympics to process, to refocus, and to rebuild confidence in her training. And she's got 5 world champions under her belt. She knows this stage. The question heading into Wednesday, can she execute now under pressure? Can she trust her training? We'll see, but her approach is great. And that leads us into our 6th segment, the pair teams. With the 2024 world champions, Stellato, Deduc, and Deschamps out due to injury, the spotlight in Canadian pairs has shifted. We've got 2 incredible teams stepping up in Prague. First, Leah and Trennt. They're our 2026 national champs, fresh off a huge upset at nationals and their Olympic debut. They're in that dangerous position, everything to gain and nothing to lose. Then we have Kellyanne and Loucas. They are two-time national bronze medalists heading into their third straight Worlds. They're the replacement team, but they are walking into a massive opportunity. That post-Olympic reset. Both teams have had a month since the Olympics to breathe. That's a month to train without that heavy Olympic weight on their shoulders. And it's a chance to build pure confidence and find their flow again before hitting the ice in Prague. And something that I know well, the partner power factor. As a former pair skater myself, I can tell you, you are only ever as strong as your partnership. Pairs isn't just about landing the throw or hitting the lift. It's about massive, unwavering trust. When you're flying through the air or holding someone's life in your hands under the bright lights, you can't be second guessing. When the pressure hits and the things start to go sideways, technical skill isn't what saves you. Trust is. Both of these teams have spent years building that foundation. In the chaos of a multi-day world championship, that bond is the only thing that's going to carry them through. I remember being in their skates, that moment when you realize it's just the two of us against the world. That's where the magic happens. And in our last segment, the big picture, over 20 withdrawals from world championships. And so what does that tell us? What is the discussion that needs to happen with regards to the schedule and on an Olympic year? Olympics in February, Worlds in late March. Only 5-6 weeks between the two big competitions of the season. And that's after all the qualifying competitions throughout the season. Many athletes are choosing, I'm going to give everything to the Olympics and then I'm stepping back. So, what do you think? Is it a smart strategy? Worlds happen every year. The Olympics don't. And what do you think? Should there even be a World Championships in an Olympic year? Interesting question. But here's what's exciting though. When the favorites withdraw, the door opens. Stephen could medal. Piper and Paul could win their first world title. Unexpected names could appear on podiums. That's what makes Worlds starting Wednesday so compelling. It's both the who's there and who's not. So here's some questions for you. Should the season structure change in an Olympic year? Should even the team event be after the individual event to help athletes maintain their energy? Should Worlds come later or not at all in an Olympic year? I would love to hear your thoughts. And who do you think will surprise us starting Wednesday? And who's your favorite? Are you team celebration mindset or team redemption mindset? Which mindset do you think works better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss. When I was performing with Disney on Ice and the Torvill and Dean Tour, doing multiple shows per day, 5 to 6 days a week with a newborn baby, energy management wasn't a skill. It was survival. I had to learn how to rest between shows. I mean, really rest, not just sit. How to fuel my body without feeling heavy. How to manage my nervous system so I wasn't exhausted before I stepped on the ice. How to compartmentalize. Baby needs, show needs, partner needs, my needs. And you know what? I didn't always get it right. There were days I pushed way too hard. Days I performed on empty. Days I gave everything in the first show and had nothing left for the second. I wrote about one performance where I was skating in agony, physically and emotionally depleted, and my performance deteriorated so badly that it affected my partner, contract, career, and marriage. If I had better energy management, if I'd known how to protect my reserves, if I'd understood that rest is a crucial part of performance, not just something you do after, things might have been different. That's what I teach athletes now. And Glitz and Grit is about parts of elite performance nobody talks about. The burnout, the identity crisis, the how do I keep going when I'm empty, and the mistakes I made. And it's available at Indigo, Barnes & Noble, and on my website, christinereeves.ca. And join me for a book signing April 12th, Indigo, Sherway Gardens, 12 to 3. Come say hi. I'm Christine Reeves Beleznay. Thank you for being part of the anti-fragile community. And if this episode resonated, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Share it with someone who needs it. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. My book, Glitz and Grit, Beyond the Spotlight, is available at Barnes & Noble, Indigo, and my website, christinereeves.ca. Until next time, keep showing up, keep being resilient, and remember, you are more than your last performance.